this is a time where you say where debts have been called in. Debts are being called in right now because in some ways, traditionally, the traditional view of IT, and let's lump in security, although they're distinct thoughts, let's lump security in with IT for just a minute, because the traditional view of a lot of companies when it comes to information technology has been, well, this is just a cost center. It's kind of a necessary evil, and Mr. or Mrs. IT person, keep costs down and keep production high. You get those two goals accomplished, and you're doing a good job. And so we've been making minimum payments like you do on a credit card for a while. You know how that happens to a person in the end, and what happens. You end up paying a lot more in the long run when you do that. And we've been making minimum payments when it comes to our cybersecurity posture, to our lack of getting security audits and penetration tests, to the investments that we're making in endpoint security and monitoring solutions. We've been making minimum payments on training our personnel, on getting soft skills, brought up to date, working on having good documentation. We've been making minimum payments on mountains of debt, and now we're finding that we're struggling a little bit, and IT teams are struggling to catch up because we weren't necessarily prepared. No one was really prepared for this whole situation, but it exposed a greater lack of preparedness in general. And because the conversation has now shifted from like just do you do backups to now it's more like, well, how resilient is your company if you have an incident? How resilient is your business if something actually does happen that's really bad? What if you do get a data breach? What if an endpoint is compromised? What if you do get ransomware? It's now more difficult to answer those questions because of the things that we've been putting off for the sake of, for the quote unquote sake of saving money.